Hello, everyone, and welcome to another special edition of my webcast series. My name is Craig Colley, and I will be your host. I'm a financial strategist and founder of Coliday, where we specialize in insurance, health, and financial services. Even though our focus is on the value of having the right coverage and programs in place, today's conversation is going to take us in a different direction. We're going to talk about the importance of having the right person help you when it comes to making some of the toughest changes in your life as you approach retirement, or perhaps other unforeseen life events that affect what you do with what's most likely your highest valued asset. And for most of us, it's our home. And this conversation is going to come from a real estate point of view. And in my business, I've met with hundreds and hundreds of people throughout the years. And there's a common theme when it comes to what you do with your home as you age or need to sell your property due to retirement, a divorce, or even a death in the family. Now, no one wants to talk about this. I get that. Just like life insurance, believe me, nobody wants to talk about it. But when it happens, it's always better to be prepared with a little bit of knowledge, but more importantly, the right person to consult with regarding your situation. Today, my guest is Janet Haig, a real estate specialist who has a rare passion for helping seniors and divorcees who may need assistance with the sale of their property. We were introduced by a mutual friend and client, and recently we had a conversation where she shared with me an extremely compelling story I thought would be perfect to share on this webcast. But first, let me tell you a little bit about her experience, and she has quite an impressive list of certifications in these areas. She's 20 years in the real estate industry, currently with Coldwell Banker, a top producer. She's earned herself the International President's Elite Recognition Award. She's certified as a SRES, a Senior Real Estate Specialist. She also has a RCSD designation in Real Estate Collaborative Specialist for divorce and divorcees. And on this webcast, Janet has been kind enough to join me to answer some of the most common questions that are asked in this subject. So hopefully, what Janet will share with you will have great value, as she also serves as your personal advisor, like what I do in my business. So there is still real value to working with someone one-on-one, especially with a professional like Janet. So without any further ado, let's bring Janet on. Janet, are you there?
I am. Hi,
All
Craig.
right. Well, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Great, great, great. Are you ready to share that vault of information with everybody?
I am, yes.
Okay. Well, we want to keep this as brief and informative as possible. So we're going to go right into the questions. The first question that we have that comes up very commonly is, what makes the process of selling a home with a senior different?
Well, as you said, Craig, it's a huge investment, one of the largest for most individuals. And with the dynamics of a senior, it's overwhelming. It can just be overwhelming and stressful, and they don't know where to turn. So I think that the biggest component is making sure to educate them, giving them the information and meeting with them and making sure you listen to them to understand what their needs are, what their final goal is. I think that is a very important aspect that we need to pay attention to, especially in today's society when everything is, social media, everything's online. Seniors really need to meet face to face with people. There's scammers out there that are targeting seniors, and you really need to be able to trust your real estate agent or your advisor, that they're going to give you the best information that you can make informed decisions on.
Yeah, I know we definitely have that in common, because there's just so much out there that's just frightens people, and or they believe the soundbite and really don't know the depth behind what things are and how they could, use them or utilize them. They may believe something that's really false until they have to take the time to get educated. Because I know I always lead with education first.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next question. How do you differentiate yourself from other realtors? What makes you special?
Well, I think the fact that I've had 20 years in the business, I've aligned myself with a lot of trusted professionals, and that's just through all the years, going through, filtering through them. And I'm very loyal to my clients. I'm loyal to the individuals that I work with. So if my client doesn't have a CPA or needs an appraiser or needs a gardener or needs a financial advisor, I know who to turn them to. But it's first of all, meeting with them and understanding what their needs are and asking the questions. For seniors, I think it's important to ask, about their family members, if they have children that are involved, involving them in the process, because you just can't leave anything mysterious or have any secrets there. You have to be full disclosure, I feel, and that's important when you're meeting with seniors and or the family members.
Is there something that you usually will bring up in the conversation that helps to identify you in this area? Because a lot of people are going to have the same kind of, I guess, conversation with someone to earn their trust. But what really makes you stand out when you have that, that face to face and you meet them? What's that common thread that usually connects you?
Craig, I really just don't see myself as a real estate agent. I feel like I'm more of an advocate. It's like a puzzle for me. So when I meet somebody, I listen to what they need and what they want to do, and make sure if I hear in the conversation that, hey, I really want to keep the kids in this house, and or a senior says, I've been in this house 40 years, I'm scared, I don't know where I'm going. I want to make sure that they are making the right decision. If it means not selling the house, or if it means selling the house in 10 years, or putting them in touch with the right person, that means more to me than just let's just get another sale out of this. And I think that's why I was gearing my designation and certifications towards seniors and towards, individuals that are divorcees, because I feel they need an advocate. They need someone that can help them make decisions when emotions are high, when they are just overwhelmed. And these seniors, it's overwhelming for anyone, and let alone a senior. There's just a lot in the process, I feel.
Well, that leads me to our next question, and really the primary reason, the conversation we had a little while ago about a recent transaction with your client Poldy, that's the main reason I wanted to come on and talk about that. But before
Yeah.
we do that, I want to read I guess we'll just call it a testimonial that she recently sent you. That when you tell your story, this is all going to tie together. But she says, I couldn't be happier with Janet's services. She went above and beyond my expectations. She was superb and helpful in ways I didn't even realize I needed help. And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
I was very nervous about this move, and she handled everything absolutely with compassion, respect, and understanding. Just like what you just said. I'm forever grateful for all her help and will highly recommend her to anyone I come across in need of her services. Thank you again, with best regards, Leopold. Uh,
Leopoldine.
thank you.
She goes by Poldy.
Yes,
Yes.
there you go. So
Yes.
so tell this story, because this is what I want everybody to hear.
So Poldy was introduced to me through my father and his girlfriend, and she's from Austria. She's been living in her home for over 40 years, and she was nervous. She's all alone. She is currently she lost her husband 8 years ago. Her daughter lives in England, and the home was just too large for her. It was a 5-bedroom home in Fountain Valley, and needed a lot of repair work. And she was living in about 800 square feet of this home.
Wow.
So I met with her, and I met with her several times to really understand the intention of her move, why she wanted to move. And she just said that she needed to downsize, but it was very emotional for her, that she had a hard time really just pulling the trigger on it. And she told me there were some areas that she was interested in moving to because she had friends that were there. So we took a couple of days and just went to go look at homes. We didn't talk about selling her house at all. And I got her excited about the move because emotionally, as I said, she was attached to this house. So I got her excited about the move. And once that happened, we met and we customized a plan for her to sell her home. She was emotional, so she didn't want to be home. So we made sure that when we listed the home, we we talked about her not being there for the open houses. We made sure that it was a little bit giving her privacy. That was very important to her.
Right.
And we talked about the pricing. We talked about making it easier on her and pricing it a right market value. So when we sold the home, we sold it as is. She didn't have to deal with contractors coming in and out of the house. We positioned her so she could just sell it and take the proceeds and not have the headaches that you typically have in a transaction. We put it on the market and we did open house the first 2 weekends, the first weekend, and we got 7 offers.
Hmm.
So we worked through this and basically got the best offer. And then within 14 days, we worked through all the inspection period, and I had to inform her. For her, it was a little bit overwhelming. It had been 40 years. She had not purchased a home, and times have changed. So I had to make sure to just continue to educate her and communicate with her. And that's the biggest thing, Craig. I think agents need to make sure they communicate with their clients and give them, doesn't have to be up to date daily, updates, but let them know the important things. And I think every client might have a different way of wanting to deal with this. Some of them don't want to know.
Did you typically just call her and have conversations with her?
Yeah, I would just call her. I'd check in on her. I'd just make
So
sure.
it wasn't an email or texting thing.
No. I think especially
what
with
she is
seniors.
used to doing, not
Yeah,
not
exactly. If my client tells me, hey, I want you to text me or email, I'll do whatever they want. But typically, I think you can hear emotions in people's voices over a conversation. And the last thing you want to do is leave somebody feeling overwhelmed and they might, read something wrong and not understand completely. So it's important for me to make sure they are clear on where we're navigating through this process.
Mm-hmm.
So, everything, we had a couple bumps in the road, but for the most part, it went smoothly. And it was a 30-day closing. So once we removed the contingencies, I said, okay, it's time. We got to find you and secure a place. I didn't want to secure a place without feeling comfortable that she was going to be moving forward. So we went out, we found a place for her to lease. A lot of people were encouraging her to buy something. But again, I asked her, what is your goal here? What do you want to do? She wasn't comfortable buying something. She wants to retire. She wants to have money in the bank. I asked her if she had a financial advisor. Did she talk to a CPA, to make sure, that capital gains and all that stuff, that she needed to know all this and may have just assumed that, most agents might just assume that people know these things. So it was important to navigate and talk to her about all that.
So with your certification, did that help you prepare for these conversations and the procedures and the things that you suggested?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does, because it just prepares you to know what the average person that in that age range is going to be looking for and what their needs are. And it can be everything from moving companies, and that's the other thing we talked about when we met, is the move with her. When I looked through the home of 40 years, I just saw things everywhere. And here she's a single woman, and I thought, how is she going to get everything out of this home by herself? And she did, and she was amazing. But we had to make sure we called the Salvation Army. We called a moving company. They came by. Everything was in place for when the day came. Everything was taken care of. There was no hiccups. She was able to just, get the proceeds of her home and get into a new home. And it was a great transition. The reward in seeing her so happy and be able to accomplish all of her goals was just amazing. It was just...
Well, what I still marvel at is that you helped her in areas that you really, from a financial side of it, weren't benefiting from. You were just truly extending a service that most people that I've spoke with don't do. And that's what really impressed me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the true defining factor of, what you're really all about. That's why I wanted to have you on and talk about this.
Well, thank you. And, Craig, for me, I think most of my business is referral and word of mouth, and as yours is as well. And that's because, you do a good job. You know that you're taking care of them. And it's important, I think, for me, it's very important. Integrity is everything to me. Honesty is important to me. And just really holding someone's hand and once they trust you and you can feel they trust you, it's great. I think we work together as a team. I never feel any question is not worthy or foolish or anything like that. I think
Right.
I'm an open book. I want people to come to me about their fears and the whole divorce. That's a whole nother topic, and that's because I've been through that and I know, and it's a
Right.
very emotional thing. So I just want people to be able to come to me and be transparent, and I can help them whatever that may be. And it might not be the sale of their home. I might sometimes I've talked people out of selling their home,
Sure.
because that's just who I am. I just try to listen and help.
Well, that's why this was so important to share, because it's just in these times it seems so rare to find that, and everybody can say they do those things, but you actually have living proof that you do those things. So it's not just a story; it's actually a story about something that actually happened. So more historic aspect, I suppose. But let's close with one more question here,
Okay.
and this is really the theme of this whole conversation: is what do you feel seniors and their families should be informed of before hiring a realtor or considering selling? What do you think are the key points?
I think they need to have a plan in place and discussion with the family of what their goal is, what they're looking to do, and whether it's putting them in a retirement home or downsizing or renting or buying something else. And once they feel comfortable with that, I think they need to reach out to a specialist or a realtor and ask the questions to be able to make an informed decision. I think that's number one. Um, I think it's important when you do speak with a realtor, you need to ask them how involved they are in the process. There's a lot of teams and there's a lot of top producers, and they have great numbers and great sales, but sometimes they hand you off to an assistant or a transaction coordinator, and you're not working with that agent. So I think that's important to know, like, are you involved in this process from the beginning until the end?
Right.
um, and then I think the other thing is where I feel I'm strong and have a lot to offer is the fact that I have a great group of trusted professionals that I work with. And that's what makes it all work. When you have, someone like yourself who's a great financial planner and advisor and can take over, and a CPA, and or just somebody who I can refer with confidence and know that they're going to take care of my clients' needs. And that's why people, I think, keep coming back to me too, is because that takes years of filtering through and navigating through and finding the right people that you want to have on your team.
And I know that you do things not just from the senior market, and you help people that are either have been divorced or approaching divorce, planning for it, which is unfortunate, of course, but when those things happen, they happen. Just like when someone
Yeah.
passes away and something has to happen with the home. All those things are factors. And then there's people that just move. They just buy and sell, and that's what happens with real estate. So you're able to handle all aspects of that. But for anybody who is interested in contacting Janet directly, I want to put your contact number up here on our screen, along with your address where you're located in Laguna Beach, and feel free to reach out to Janet. Um, and any closing comments you'd like to share before we end?
Oh, Craig, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. And, I consider you a like-minded person, and I think that's why we connected. And I look forward to the years working with you.
Well, thank you very much. And I want to thank everybody for attending today. And please, if you have somebody that you know that may be in a situation that could really be helped by Janet's expertise, or maybe down the road, you just never know. So you might want to bookmark this video or share it on social media, or share it with some of your friends and family who may be in need of this exact type of service. That's what we do these for education and to help you. And we thank you for attending, and we look forward to seeing you again on our next broadcast. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
Craig.
everybody.
Thank you, Craig.